Alright, this video is going to show you how to add a floor to your shed here. So when you get to this step, you should already have your walls done. So in our previous video we had dimensioned our walls, so it's 16 inches by 12 inches, and then we had our height. If we go to our east elevation view, we had our height of our walls at 8 feet, and that's where we set our roof at. Okay. So at this point in our shed, we want to add a floor in here. Okay, so to do this, we want to go to our floor plan. All right. The floor button is found within the architecture tab. So I'm going to click on architecture if it isn't already selected, and you are going to see the option for a floor. Okay, and so for what we are doing today, we're going to be focusing on the architectural floor. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And you are going to see that that modify tab is opened up here. Okay. Now the tool you want to be using is this pick walls. This will allow you to use the walls that already exist as the boundaries for your floor. Okay. Now you can always draw in your own or use rectangle tool just like you did with the walls here. But this is the best way to do it, especially if you're going room by room. Okay. Now for what we're going to do is we're going to be clicking on the outer part of the wall. Okay, so notice there's going to be no offset. I'm going to go click on the outside of the wall, and then I'm going to go to the next wall, and I'm just going to make my way around the shed walls until I have all four selected. Now, just like before, if you need to switch the wall, you can, or the floor to the inside, you can press that, or you can hit spacebar. It does the same thing, and it's going to go ahead and move that to the outside. Okay. The other thing to notice, you have different types of floors here. Now our shed is going to ask you to go ahead and do that wood finish. So that's this wood joist, 10 inches, and then we're going to have a wood finish on the top. Okay, so I can go ahead and click on that. Alright, we had the room boundaries, and then once you are done, you need to remember to hit this check mark. Okay, if you don't hit the check mark, it's not going to place the floor. So we're going to hit that check mark, finish it up. You can see the horizontal lines right here. Okay, if you want to see the floor in 3D, you can see here's the floor added below the walls. Okay, and then you have the flooring in here that's wood. Now right now we don't have the visual on, so if you want to go down to the bottom here where it says visual style, right now we're just in hidden lines. If you select that and you go to constant colors, you're going to actually see, oh yeah, okay, that's a wood floor. You can go to realistic, which is going to make it even more realistic. It's just going to take a lot more CPU power to run this. So if you don't really need it on, I would just suggest to keep this lower. Constant colors is fine. And then you can see that that's been added successfully. Okay, and that's really all that it is with the flooring. The one thing I would mention though is if you misclicked and you mess something up with the floor, you can always go back into it. I'm just double clicking on that floor in my floor plan, and notice it's going to reopen that up. If you are on the wrong line, so let's say over here I go to the inner wall and I hit OK. When you go into 3D, you're going to notice that your flooring doesn't line up with the walls, and so that's what it's going to look like. There, you can kind of see that there. That's not the end of the world, really, when you're doing flooring, right? You go right up to the walls, but with the program, I'm just going to go to the outside so that that wall isn't just floating out here in space. So I'm going to go back into my floor plan. I can go ahead and switch that back out. Let's do this. Okay, and I'm just going to hit that check mark again. That way, it looks like the walls are actually being supported within the program here. And that's really it for walls. If you have multiple sections of a house, you can always change what type of flooring's in each room by just clicking on it and then selecting what type of flooring that you want.